We took a left turn there.
Interesting little cameo. Like,
I love Sam.
Yo, before we start, dude, I saw this quote online. Like, creators for season 3 White Lotus thought, okay, the incestual like storyline will probably be like the craziest thing, and then here's another picture of Sam Rockwell like, hold my beer.
I know we're going to talk about it, but Rick's face when he's hearing that whole conversation that's acting. Like, that was perfection. I love it.
Sometimes I look and pay for it.
I told you this episode did not disappoint. Welcome to a special TV episode of 3.5 Gentlemen with a podcast where 3 of the 4 hosts provide a refined and intellectual analysis of movies or TV shows from our private collections while one tries desperately to keep up. We'll let you decide which host is which, but for now, my name is Sean, and with me, as always, are my fellow Moon Party pals, Jeremiah.
Shia LaBeouf, yo, Shia LaBeouf.
Eddie.
It's my Achilles heel.
And Brandon.
We have one life, Lachlan. One life.
Apparently, we're going to spend it in incest.
Throughout season 6, we're going to be talking about several different TV shows. And we're starting things off with White Lotus season 3, the hit show on HBO Max.
That's right, HBO Max. As with every review we give, our goal is to answer one simple question. How many drinks does it take to get through the film? Or in this case, a show that we just watched. Now, at the end of the podcast, we'll rate each episode based on a scale of 0 to 5, with 0 being a perfect episode that you can watch stone cold sober, and 5 being the episode that makes you feel like you're making out with your sibling in a drug-induced high. Now, Brandon, I appreciate you going rated R here and not going NC-17, because I fucking would have bet money on that you would have been like,
there was a lot of places I could have gone. I'm just saying.
All I can think about is if this show was in the 80s with today's standards, there would have been piles of cocaine, just mounds of cocaine.
Instead of a little red
everywhere.
pill, a little red pill,
just snorting.
I feel like the writers for this episode were like, there was somebody's like, I got it. I got the perfect episode. And he was just like, just throwing ideas out there. And then Mike's like, all of it. I want all of it in it. All of it.
Bigger, more.
It's like that Kylo Ren scene. More.
It really is, though.
Oh,
Go ahead,
shit.
Brandon.
Okay. So the White Lotus takes viewers into and behind the scenes of the swanky White Lotus Resort. With seasons 1 and 2, we were taken to Hawaii and the Sicilian coast, respectively. And for the 3rd season, we're brought to Thailand. With episode 5, Rick makes his way to Bangkok to meet up with his old friend, Frank. Piper Ratliff spills to her parents that she's moving to Thailand after she graduates, and that is to her mother's confusion. Saxon and Lachlan Ratliff try to score with Chelsea and Chloe, and maybe they actually make it, not sure. And the trio of women have a crazy party night with Valentine and his friends. And last but not least, we've got Belinda, who feels like she's being targeted by Greg Gary. And I got to be honest, as I was writing that, I was like, oh my God, that happened too. And that happened too. And that happened too. So this was a fun episode. I'm just throwing that out there. Now,
this is an example of how a show can slow burn for 5 episodes or 4 episodes and not really divulge much. And then all of a sudden it turns on a dime. Yeah. And this is what White Lotus has always done. And so patience is a virtue, and I apologize, for our negativity, but at the same time, I think audiences are so satiated by events that you make them wait a minute and they're like, oh, I'm over this. Like, I'm so tired of, like, I heard people, I'm never watching a show again. It's like, really? It's 45 minutes of your life. You can't wait. Like,
Well, this is our episode. This one was long.
Yeah, this one was long.
The beauty of this episode is that I think this is the episode that people were waiting for, but I don't think it was the episode that they were ready for. Like they literally caught everyone's pants down on this episode. I'm like, okay, we're back in the game.
Now listen, as
here we go.
As of this recording, this episode has an IMDb score of 8.4, which is the highest for the season. and has an average critic score of 95% and an audience score of 86% on Rotten Tomatoes for the season. So
I feel like that clicked up.
There.
That clicked up a little notch. Is that true?
Well, we're hanging out with Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is about the same. It actually went down 1%, I think, with the audience score. IMDb is shooting way up, and the critics are still sitting at 95% for the season. So I think they're playing the long game.
Anyway, so let's jump in and start kind of the show. The show had a little bit of a slow opening, in my opinion, and I was like, when are we going to get there? When are we going to get to this party? Because you kind of started, and I'm like, man, they're really revving up all the different storylines. Like they're really starting to
they changed the focus here, which I thought was weird. They changed the structure because to my memory, every single episode for 2.5 seasons has been contained to one day, right? So literally you have them waking up in the beginning of the episode, you have them going to sleep at the end. This is the first time where we spent not a day with the guests, but we spent a night with the guests. And that's a huge pivotal changing point, right? Because ultimately,
I think what we did is they stayed up.
Well, they stayed up.
They stayed up, so we stayed up.
Well, they stayed up, but at the same time, I thought it was an interesting call to literally not have daylight basically at all in this entire episode. It was all fueled by that one night. And then I think that one night, I think we're going to talk about, is the connecting catalyst. So the connecting point, but also the catalyst for everything that's going to come. I saw somebody say something in somewhere about this episode, which was, we still haven't had things happen, but everything is now officially set up. And I think that's really, but no, think of it this way, right? We don't have the answers.
I think a lot of things have happened.
Well, no, a lot of things happen, but at the same time,
here.
We don't have we don't have the huge reveal, I guess. We don't have the reveal yet, but I feel like we have a lot better understanding of what the reveal is going to be.
Yeah,
in a lot of different.
The reveal's coming in the last episode.
Of course it is.
It's not coming before.
All right.
This is what's been placed on the table here. Okay, now we don't have one gun. We probably have 2 guns in the mix of the show.
Possibly even more than that.
So now we're just like, okay, there could be multiple deaths here. Okay, one, we have actually left White Lotus and we're officially in Bangkok. We didn't think we were going to make it to Bangkok. We're now in Bangkok, and I wouldn't be surprised if Piper might have just, is the whistleblower, just privileged, kid.
Piper's a daughter.
Piper's the daughter.
I don't think she's a whistleblower. I don't think so.
You don't think so?
So either. No.
I mean, dude. She seems like one of those people, like, I don't want to be rich here. I want to be like kind of be a silver spoon. With
I think she's also. I think she's here. She's here. I think she is she speaks no evil, sees no evil, hears no evil. Yeah. I think that she is gonna.
All the kids are kind of fucked up and want to disassociate from mom and dad. But I will say this. Let's stick with the Ratless for a moment because I think that their storyline was the shortest. Other than the boys off in Moon Landing or whatever, but the Ratliff parents were the shortest, and we went a long way in a very short period of time. I think that the mom, what's her name?
Parker Posey.
Yeah, Parker Posey, but I mean, anyway.
Who's perfection?
Yeah.
She's just perfect. I really get the opinion that she knows what the fuck's going on. I feel like she knows everything, and she's just trying to hold things together in this denial land and kind of control the situation as much as she can.
So you think she has more power than we think over the family?
I think she has money hidden away. I think she comes from money. I feel like she has money hidden away, and she knows her husband's into some shit, and she's already starting to put together a backup plan with her and her kids. But she doesn't want to. It's going to include. She starts her.
It's going to include Tim.
She has all these little sayings of like about money here and money there. Like it's almost like a little dig. Like
I feel like she's trying to get out of him. She's picking at him.
Picking that. Yep.
Do you guys get the feeling that the little young guy, is going to be the villain of the show?
No, the way he's going to be the sacrifice. He attacked his brother.
I think he's going to be the dead one. He's going to drink the bad fruit.
Because he said that I'm going to take you down,
Yeah.
And I could have sworn in the video, like he didn't even take the pill. Like he purposely might have just like thrown the pill, and he was just doing it just to get, one on top of him.
See, I guess I didn't read it like that. I read it more that he did take the pill, and I think that a more interesting quote that he said was, isn't this life, maybe this life is a test to see how damn it, I lost it. It was how good you could be, or how you could change, or how you could become a better person. And Saxon was like, no, like that's you're way off on that one. And so I feel like there is a problem there, between the two brothers, but I feel like it's more, I'm going to replace you, not I'm going to like destroy you. I'm going to be what you should have been. Like Gandalf the Great is Gandalf the White.
Replacing you and destroying you is kind of the same thing. Like, I'm going to be better than you, and I'm going to actually make sure that I get ahead of you more than anything. That's what the vibe I got from that.
Yeah. But not like anything violent.
Could be, man. Who knows?
Could be. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, I feel like the older brother, Satson, definitely did not. He was. I like the idea now of the older brother. He was getting affected differently with the pill, right? Like he's like, oh, no pills for me. And he was, the way he saw his brother take the pill. He's like, bro, like what the hell? Like, you know, it almost seemed like he was a little pissed at that. Like you saw a real moment there. He's like, we don't do that. Like we only drink. We don't take pills. But then
he's such a pushover, though. He's such a follower, man.
He's a pushover
because he can't feel left out, and that's how it is with Dad's company. That's how it is with family.
Yeah, FOMO,
100%.
But his character became FOMO.
And I'm not going to condone ever taking pills or drugs of any kind. I think drugs are horrible. But if you are going to take drugs, that's probably the place to do it. Like that's a situation where. I don't know.
I don't know about that, dude.
Oh, come on. Come on. I mean, I'm saying that's the type of party atmosphere like that I think would be.
See, that's the start of Frank right there. You know, you're like, no, I'm just going to go wild for once a day. And all of a sudden,
that's where Sean leans over to me and whispers in my ear, like, are you feeling this? I like it.
Hop yourself to the door.
I mean, what do you do? You take it on a random. You take it on a random Tuesday by yourself?
That's when you do it.
No, you take it when you're in Bangkok.
Yeah.
You put the little latch on that door. You sit there in a padded room when you take drugs. That's all I'm saying.
You guys have different.
I'm not doing it. I don't. This random girl, little baddie in Thailand. Take one. It's candy.
Yeah, dude, it's dangerous, dude. I mean, seriously, like even with the three girls like partying it up and everything, were you guys kind of like worried for saying like?
Oh, I was terrified. I was terrified of everybody. I thought somebody was going to get killed. I'm like, oh my god, this is like if you could describe to me the worst situation on the planet.
Leslie's Bibbs character, all of a sudden I was like, I like her in this part. Like she's like, can't we just go home and go to bed, guys?
She's the only one who's going to stay faithful to her husband until the end. Is all I'm saying. She's going to let that guard down,
dude.
Well, Carrie Coon is not married. I thought.
No, Leslie Bibbs.
She's divorced.
Not Carrie Coon.
No, I'm saying so. Yeah, so Carrie Coon can F whoever she wants.
Yeah, exactly. No. Jacqueline broke bro code, the girl code on that shit, dude.
Oh, and she stole the metaphysical guy.
Yeah.
She stole
Valentine.
She wanted what Carrie Coon's character.
Yeah, dude.
Did.
Well, that's the whole thing with those three characters is that they're so obsessed with one-upping the others. But what I love and hate about them, but I hate it because whatever, is that they constantly are defaulting back on this. Oh, we've been friends forever. We're best friends. We love each other. We're sisters. And the reality is you could not find three people who shouldn't be together more than those three. Right?
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. Couldn't agree with you more.
There's a lot of insecurities in that whole group there, you know, and the whole revenge sex thing, you know, like Jacqueline, I think we're going to find out that her husband was probably just away on the situation and never cheated or anything like that. And she's going to like she's going to feel that piece of shit-ness where you're just like, oh, you know, where she's like going to have to own up for that for the rest of her life and everything. I have a feeling that's where we're going to get it.
And this is
I think she's already going through a divorce. I don't think she's. I just feel like. Yeah,
no.
She's going through a divorce,
and she's trying to hide it from her friends.
I think it's over. She knows it's over. He knows it's over. It's
I thought they were still.
No. Let me get this real quick, Sean. I just got an idea. So, just because we're talking about Jacqueline and specifically with White Lotus, one of the things I love about it, which is what I know a lot of people hate about the show, is that it takes these characters and then at the end, they're just complete shells of who they once were, right? They've just had this realization and they're just completely empty, right? You had Alexandra Daddario's character at the beginning or in the first season, where at the end she has gone back to the idiot and she's just kind of sacrificed and she's just empty, right? You've got that with a couple of the characters.
To him
really
at the end of the season?
Oh yeah,
I thought so.
she
In
goes
the
back.
airport or something.
Yeah, she goes back
Yeah.
to him. But what I love about
remember
this
that.
is it's just this empty. I think she's going to be the character for this season where she's left completely empty. That she has wrecked her world
Yeah.
that she has built, and that we're just going to have that lingering. I'm not going to say lingering last shot, but we're going to have one of the lingering last shots is going to be her staring at her cell phone, realizing that her life has just changed because of one stupid mistake that she made.
Not to get political, but I think it's fucking hilarious that the only character of all the characters on this show who is trying to be faithful and trying to be a good person is Leslie Bibb. I think that's totally intentional. I'm not saying she's going to stay that way, but
Let's talk about because her man is actually in this episode, guys.
That's
what?
true.
Good old Sam. It's Frank. Let's talk about Frank.
Yeah, they've been dating for almost 20 years, dude.
Yeah, that's her husband.
Wait, who
Yes,
is
Leslie Bibb's
Rockwell.
character.
In
Sam-
real
Leslie
life,
Bibb in real life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
in real life.
I'm
I did not know
what?
that.
They're not characters.
I'll do let's talk about Frank a little bit.
No, but for
Well, I do
sure,
wanna talk
Frank.
about Frank.
That whole monologue with Sam Rockwell was like going to a rabbit hole that I wasn't expecting. Like every time I thought we reached to a finish line, we just end up Mario
Kept going.
the next
Kept going.
mile. I'm like, okay. And I think it was all improvised. I just feel like with like Rick's face, Walter's face, it's like he wasn't expecting any of that.
It reminded me of there's a scene in the Birdcage with the late great Gene Hackman, and he's talking about the foliage. And it to me it was the same vibe. He just kept going, and then he gets to the end, and he's like, "Yeah, I had to get away from the drugs, man." I'm like, oh my god! So basically,
Sam Rockwell, man, perfection.
yeah.
Everyone, as soon as he started talking, everyone was just like, "Stop, but keep going."
And I was like, who is that? Because he looks a little older. I mean, I haven't seen him in probably a couple of years. I haven't seen him since probably Iron Man 2, for God's sakes. I'm not a huge fan of him necessarily. I know, Brandon, he's one of your favorites.
Oh, he's one of my favorites.
But he knocked it out. He was wonderful. And
Yeah, he won an Emmy for that scene right there.
Oh,
it makes me want to go back and watch his stuff, like, because he's so engaging. The way that he approaches his lines is so interesting because it was totally authentic. You could believe everything that he was saying, even though it was completely unbelievable. Like, are they brothers?
I want to give some shout outs to Sam Rockwell, who I think is easily one of the best actors. He's up there, in my opinion, Philip Seymour Hoffman quality. He's in a movie that is sadly underseen. I think, Jerry, you're probably the only one that's seen it.
I know what you're talking about.
Moon.
Yep.
The dude literally is the whole movie is him, just him. I mean, basically, it's a one-man show. And I mean, I dare you to find a more engaging performance, but also an engaging movie. And all you got is one guy basically up on screen the whole time. And I tell you what, that proves, and then this just kind of reiterates just how strong of an actor Sam Rockwell is. And I didn't know he was in this one. So when
Surprise.
I heard the voice,
nobody did.
I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, this is perfection. Perfection.
So, did anyone pause after all that? You paused it, like, I got to go back and just make sure I heard what I heard. Like I felt like at one point I did.
I was smiling. I was like laughing. I was
felt like
not.
I missed a whole bunch of.
I had to go back because Hannah missed that whole. I'm like, you gotta watch this shit, dude.
I missed it.
It's
I was
too
like,
much again.
time out. What the hell? Did I miss a scene? Like, what the fuck did I just miss?
And he just kept escalating, and then I would put
just
makeup
spirals.
on, and I would put makeup on and lingerie, and then I would hire a woman to go in the corner
look
and
at.
watch. I'm just like,
I love that it was he wanted to fuck himself, fucking himself, watching himself,
right,
and
watch himself fuck himself.
This box is it's imploding on itself, but at the same time, he explains it in a way I'm like, okay, I understand where you're at. I do.
I felt like they did not, like, who said it? One of you guys said off air, like, they didn't tell Rick, Walter, what was going to be said. So his reaction was just like,
his reaction. Walton, but his reaction was absolutely perfect because it was just this incredulous, unbelievable reaction where but he's not like shrinking away. He's just like accepting it. He's like,
It was like the biggest swallow. Like, you're like,
okay. Okay.
Well, it reminds me. So I was watching behind the scenes of Goodfellas the other day, and Joe Pesci has a scene with Ray Liotta where he kind of gets in his face, and it's the famous you think I'm funny like a clown, like you made me want to laugh, and that they did the scene and that was not in the script, and Joe Pesci went up to Martin Scorsese and said, "Hey, I have an idea. Like, can I do this?" And Martin Scorsese says, "Absolutely, don't tell Ray Liotta. Just let him react to what you're going to do." And if you watch that scene, Ray Liotta's like he he's a professional. I feel like this is the same thing. Like the director, was like, "Okay, we have a guest star. You're just going to sit here. You don't have any lines. Just react to what he says."
I can go for 4 episodes of them two, like actually
Just
whatever,
a
like
conversation,
conversation or mercenaries or whatever they do before they got to White Lotus. Like it's probably the most interesting freaking duo.
Friendship.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably one of the best friendships ever. Just afterwards, you get the idea. He owes him one. He even says, "Hey, you owe me one. Like, just call me up and I'll be there."
I want a John Wick spinoff.
Hitman.
Yeah, I want a John Wick spinoff.
This weird type of hitman, and one became a Buddhist.
A Buddhist.
Another one is just like, okay, I guess we're not drinking anymore. You used to go crazy with me, but
then it's just spiraled out of control.
I'm a little disappointed he was drinking Dewar's, because I'm assuming he's some sort of a millionaire. And I'm like, buddy, you can do better than that. You can do.
Oh man, that guy reeks of alcohol. By the way, every time I see Walter, I mean, when I see Rick, I'm like, Rick Walton. Yeah, he just looks like he reeks of alcohol.
Hair. It's the priest hair.
In all fairness, every time he's on screen, I feel like he smells. He smells of something. Like every movie, every performance,
alcohol, cigarettes, and brute.
When he was in Justified, I'm like, oh, you smell of like evil and like.
I told Celia, I was like, honestly though, he's one good haircut and a shower away from cleaning up. It's like he's one good shower and a haircut away from cleaning up and looking really good.
Go on YouTube. He does a tour of his home, and he's got this gorgeous. This home, Eddie, you gotta watch it. It's like he's a different guy than every character he's ever played. He's like, and this is my 1908 revival, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
And he's blinging, dude. Yeah. He's got these badass jewelries and stuff, man.
And he's wearing like this linen shirt. He looks really good, like healthy. And
it's half open, dude. Healthy. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you're not as like.
And she laughed. It's like he's one good shower and a haircut away from looking like a good looking man.
You're not a psychotic person.
So to keep us moving, we need to talk about Belinda Gregory. Belinda Gregory. I think we need to talk about them because, so Sean, you mentioned it season or episode 1 that you think that it's going to pivot around the staff, right? And I feel like we haven't gotten a whole lot of the staff this season, except for Guy Talk being the worst watchman. And I love Fabian when he's just like, who's watching who's on guard? Like who's I literally love it. He's just like, who's in the booth? I have that. That was going to be my quote. Who's in the booth? He's like,
connected to Greg. I'm calling it out. He's that fool is connected to Greg.
So I'm going to go. I think their incompetence is part of it. The second part of this is I've heard, and this is just as I think is safe to say, the next episode is going to feature a pretty big scene with the famous Asian lady that Guy Talk is kind of talking to.
The Lisa girl from Blackpink.
Mook. No, Mook.
Yeah, Mook.
No.
Mook.
Oh. Mook? Yeah, Mook.
Yeah, Mook. Mook is going to have this big reveal or big something. So I'm thinking that we're going to get some behind the scenes. And the fact that Belinda and, what's his name? I like him very much.
Monsieur?
The masseuse.
Yeah, the masseuse are together. I think that was kind of a nice, sweet reveal.
Oh, you didn't? I saw that one coming.
Yeah, and when he gets, my favorite is when he gets, it's coming from inside, and she fucking, look at her face like, what? Greg is inside the house? Like, no, it's a fucking lizard. Which my mother, by the way, would have. She would have never slept together.
I'm not sleeping here. I'm not sleeping back here.
She would have demanded. She'd have been like, "No, get me on a plane tonight. Get me on a plane tonight."
So, but then the masseuse, I mean, he said, "Oh, you must have left your door open." Belinda's not the type of person to leave her door open.
But the window's
Someone's
constantly
planning
open.
shit in, dude.
Yeah.
The window's constantly open. We're seeing the window open. I think that's more of a red herring. That's just
We're
my
also
thought.
making a huge leap to think that Greg/Gary is this evil guy. He has not proven. He has not done things to show that he's an evil guy, other than cheating on and being this weird womanizer. But take a different character. They're all weird and womanizer, menizers. They're all weird people. I mean, the Greg/Gary's girlfriend makes a comment like, well, why don't you just cheat on him, on Walton Goggins, that girl, Chelsea. Like, well, because I'd feel really bad about it. And then but it'd be okay. We'd recover. And I'm like, oh God, good, strong relationships going into in this episode.
So Greg, I do think he is either with a government agency to take down
BLM.
the White Lotus.
He's definitely with BLM.
Yeah, he's to take down. There's some type of thing. He's going from White Lotus to White Lotus to White Lotus. I feel like that it's probably to be like it's not come out probably season 4.
Chelsea said that that he would kill her. Like, she doesn't put it past him. He would kill her. I think that there's something really, really tricked out. Now we do have to talk about the big reveal, and this is the kind of, not big reveal, but we talked about it last time, which is we're confirmed that this is 1 year after the Sicilian Coast season 2.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that that's a good kind of understanding of where Greg Gary is, in the sense that maybe he was with Chelsea. I don't think he was with Chelsea. I don't think the phone call in season 2 was to Chelsea. But
I do.
This is his. You think so? I think that this is him moving
Chelsea,
around. Around.
Chelsea is who? Chelsea's Rick's girlfriend.
Chelsea,
He's the other girlfriend.
He's talking about the other
Chloe.
girlfriend. He's talking about Chloe.
Chloe.
Sorry.
Greg Gary's girlfriend.
So what I think about Chloe is that she knows that guy has killed before. And so I feel like this guy is going to be like the baddie villain and all villains and stuff. And what's going to happen is probably more likely she's going to end up the one that actually dies. And she's probably the one that we actually see that's floating in the lake at the beginning of the episode. In all fairness,
Jeremy, you have said everyone's floating in the lake at this point. I think.
I have not.
It's Belinda's son.
Last week it was.
I said that it's probably multiple deaths. I never said who was actually the first person that actually was dead there.
So how about
I'm pretty sure
you said he could have been killed by eating the bad fruit, and that's him in the water.
I said there might be multiple deaths.
So I got a question. I got a question for you guys. I got a question.
Wait, listeners, he will actually, if that happens, I'm going to ask for the biggest apology from this guy to laugh at me.
All right, so I got a question for you guys. As we're winding it down, I got a question. We just watched episode 5 of 8, right? So we've got 3 more left. When is our first body going to show up? When is the first death? Because we've been talking about how there's going to be multiple deaths. Do you think, Eddie, you think we're going to wait till episode 8? So 7's where you're at.
7's where I'm at. Episode 7's where you can see 1 death and then maybe 2 deaths.
I think episode 7 is going to end with gunshots, but you're not going to see anybody.
I think episode 6 is the first death, especially with the whole Mai Tai match. Yep. You're going to see somebody get killed there.
I'm on Jeremy's side.
I think we're going to get Mai Tai match. What's that?
The fight.
When those guys were leaving the girls' apartment or whatever, they were like, "Hey, you're going to come to the match?"
Muay Thai. I'm sorry.
So
I'm thinking
that was a good drink, though.
I do want to say something.
Yes. Sorry.
I think all the guests are. I want to rebuttal. I'm going to go back. I don't think any of the guests. Like, we're talking about the Ratliffs, Rick and his girlfriend, and the other 3 girls. Mm-hmm. I don't think any of them are going to die anymore. I feel like they're all going to go back. They're all going to go back to the boat, and White Lotus does that all the time. They all go back, and they all just see life differently, and they're either going to become best friends. I think Rick and Chelsea are going to love each other. The Ratliffs are going to be like, we got to find a new way of living, and then the 3 girls will be all separate from each other. The people that are going to die is the people who work at Thailand. The security guy, he's dead.
Yeah,
he's dead. And then also Jeremy has a good thing. Chloe, that's actually a good spinoff that she could die, and Greg moves on to the Nets White Lotus.
Right. I'd be curious to see Papa Rat happen, because I still think that it might happen next episode. So if somebody dies, I think he might die next episode because his storyline is kind of dead unless they
super boring.
Yeah, unless they bring in Kenny and the FBI
Kenny's coming.
or something.
Oh, Kenny's coming.
Yeah. I don't think Kenny's coming.
Unless he becomes the new Gary and takes Gary's place, and he just
and that'd be interesting if he killed Gary and took Gary's place, why have a character and stuff?
Why have an actor though, Sean? Why have an actor of his notoriety, right? As the voice, unless, and here's the other big one, they're setting him up to be in season 4. Right, because they've done that before, where we've got this kind of build up to the next season.
Last thing we need to talk about though is the Lachlan Saxon kiss, and whether or not that has any meaning or anything going forward.
Who kissed who there?
Do you think it was just a kiss, or do you think they all kind of went like the whole time?
So Lachlan kissed Saxon. He went in extra a little deep. Right?
He was happy.
You just saw that.
I think he might have even
high-fived
with tongue. Yeah,
I think he was trying to get laid. I think he was trying to get laid by one of the girls.
Yeah, by his bro.
No.
I'm talking about the little bro who knew exactly what he was doing. It's not Saxon.
I'm never kissing Jeremiah.
Lachlan and Frank are going to meet, and they're going to find happiness with each other. I'm just throwing that out there.
It could be another situation where Chloe dies because of the brothers or something like that, because it looks like the next season or the next episode, there's a preview where she's telling Saxon, Chloe, that he knows. And I think she's going to try to manipulate him, and some crazy shit's going to happen, and she's going to end up dead.
So I did find out why the show went to Thailand instead of Japan, because there was all this thing about Japan was going to be the next place to go, right? And Japan. And why they changed it to Thailand, they changed the whole storyline. It's because Thailand offered them a crap load of incentive to go to shoot at Thailand, almost
4 seasons, bro.
No, I'm saying it was almost free to shoot at the 4 seasons, and they've seen an 800% increase in tourism to Thailand. I'm like, way to go!
White Lotus has every place they've been to, it receives this humongous increase of tourism.
Right.
So Thailand's I'll pay for your everything.
This is exactly what the episode was supposed to be. I was like, well, here is Thailand. Thank you. Absolutely. And that brings us to the end of our review. Now it's time in the podcast where each of the hosts provides a score on the following scale. Frank, can you please provide the scale?
Happy Frank.
So 0, the perfect episode. You don't need shit to enjoy it. 1, it filled your first cocktail. 2, a happy buzz. 3, you're gonna Uber or lifting home. 4, rough morning walk of shame. 5, blacked out shit face spring break drunk. All right, gentlemen.
This is a tough one, guys.
Oh, really?
Oh, this is a tough one. Because how nice do I want to be? Do I want to reserve
this was one of the best episodes out there.
All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Brandon. Sean, what are you at? Where are you at?
All right.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to take it first because I'm just going to take it first. I have been on a season 2 high since I finished it. I think that season 2 is hands down one of the best seasons of any show.
You're fresh off season 2. That's why.
I am. And you know what?
Yep.
I felt like season 2, especially about halfway through, as with the White Lotus structural brand, I guess, that season, everything was just going. It was clicking. I cared about the characters. I was invested. I don't care about the characters like I want to care about them in this this season. But what episode 5 did is it finally gave us some momentum. And I think that momentum is something we've been missing. And I don't think that the shit has hit the fan obviously yet, but man, I can see not necessarily exactly where we're going, but I can see us moving towards that shit hitting the fan. And I really want to get there because ultimately that's what we're here for. We're here for the big payoff. We're here for the pretty pictures and we're here for the payoff. We're not here for the character development. We're here for the, as Sean loves to talk about, the character destruction. And I'm ready for it. I don't want the season to end, but I'm ready to see kind of just the shit burning down. So I'm giving this a 0.77. I think that this is a very, very well-made episode. I really like what they did. I like how they've got the wheels greased. And I'm ready for hopefully this ride to only pick up speed.
I think it's funny how close we are in score. I think this was one of the best episodes so far, if not the best episode of the season. I understand you're coming down off season 2, But I remember a time in season 2, Brandon, where you were like, man, I really wish this would pick up a little bit. And then it did. And it really, this is what White Lotus does. It lulls you into like either not liking the characters or not liking the storyline, and then it all comes together. The only thing in season 3 so far that I'm really not a fan of is the theme song. But I gave this a 0.77. I think it's a little more than a shot. It's a shot plus a little splurge of maybe a little, Midori, and you move on from there. Jeremiah.
0.75 or 77?
0.75.
Okay.
That's what I thought. I did not hear that right.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I gave 0.77.
I might have said 7.7. I mean,
Brandon got 7.7, right?
Because, great minds.
Yeah.
All right. So when they announced that White Lotus was going to be in Thailand, this is exactly what I had in mind. Like, okay, this is when shit's going to get weird. Finally, it got freaking weird. I mean, I said this early in the episode. This is the episode we were waiting for, but I think this was not the episode we were ready for. And I think in a lot of ways, it fucking delivered on that part right there. And this episode reminded me of that saying, nothing good happens after midnight. And this is exactly what it is. Debauchery and crazy shit. Everyone has their own personal baggage and shit they bring into it, and they bring it to White Lotus. And this is what the series is all about, man. I thought the acting was great. I thought the direction was great, going back and forth, all the parties and everything like that, the lighting, the cinematography. The only things that I don't really care about is the security storyline and the husband and wife's storyline, Jason Isaac and Parker Posey. It's still kind of lagging and waiting for it to kind of pick up, but this was the episode that got back on track and what White Lotus is all about. It's a 0.95, almost a feel-good cocktail. Eddie, go for it.
Sam, he took this episode and made it so much special than anyone was expecting. With him and Rich were just on the scene. Everyone should just have 30 minutes of them just talking. So I agree with Jeremiah with those pain points of Isaac's and Talk. I don't know his name. The security guy.
Talk, yeah.
Talk. Those are two things. Like you can't lose your weapon and not even report it. Like, come on, man. It just pissed me off a little bit of knowing that that's how it's going to all break down, So, and Isaac's character, I'm really bored with him.
Yeah.
Every time he comes on the screen, he's just at the table and you just see his eyes and he's just looking down. And it's like, okay, I get it. You fucked up. Like, let's move on. Everyone else, I'm really enjoying their characters starting to bloom, character development starting to happen as we see it. So I just wanted to throw that out there. The directing and the producing definitely shined in this spot with switching over to every different story plot. That was nice to see that. This is the best episode of the group. So I'm going to personally also say this is a 1.05. It's a little higher, little higher than what you guys were saying, but overall still very close. So this is a 1.05 for me.
All right, when you take those 4 scores and divide them by 4, what does White Lotus Season 3, Episode 5 get an average rating of?
A 0.88. A 0.88. 0.88. Yep.
Jeremiah, where does that land on our episode list so far?
The number 1 episode for White Lotus Season 3, hands down, a 0.88. There it is.
All right. So after a couple of disappointing episodes, I feel like we're on the right track. I feel like we're heading into these last 3 episodes with some levity, some excitement.
Yep.
And I feel like we're all agreed that the show, if it stays strong, is going to finish strong. Is going to finish as strong as season 2 or season 1. Just give me something. I'm really still hoping for a cameo or a flashback or something with I still think I'm going to get it. I don't think I'm going to get Tanya or Letitia, Tanya's twin sister, who's also a billionaire.
Wait, maybe. We got 3 episodes.
White,
we got 3 episodes.
And
you might get someone. You might get somebody else from season 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Even if like somebody else.
So we'll see how this shakes out. So if you're a fan of the podcast, we ask you please leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening. You can shoot on over to our YouTube channel and check out our regularly scheduled movie podcast. Please ring that bell and support us. You can also go to anywhere podcasts are available. You can listen to any movie or TV show that we have in our catalog. And with that, I think we'll see you next week for episode 6 of season 3 of White Lotus. With that, cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I love how they're starting to play the music though secretly in these episodes now.
Yeah, they're bringing back episode season 2.